These are things that I didn't know several years ago myself. So I don't think the general population knows much about this, much more than I do anyway. I'm Dr. Natalie Gonzalez. I practice integrative and functional medicine. Integrative means I use the best of both non-conventional or alternative means in addition to conventional medicine to optimize my patient's health. And functional means that I'm going to look for the root cause or the underlying reason that somebody has a health problem. And when it comes to gut, that's what we recognize as being one of the prime underlying conditions that determine whether somebody is going to be healthy or not. And it determines certain chronic diseases that we see all of the time. So let's start with just why. Why would we do this? When we have somebody who's got a chronic condition, we know that the gut is the place to start, because if they're not getting adequate nutrition, they will not be able to function normally. Their body will not function at its best, and you will see all kinds of health conditions that come from poor diet, but not just poor diet, inability to absorb nutrients into your system. So back to the gut. Now, sometimes the gut issues will be obvious. Somebody will have diarrhea, constipation, bloating, abdominal pain, things like that that are very obvious. And then other times, all we know is that they just, don't have a bowel movement on a regular basis, and they're keeping certain byproducts of hormones inside their system longer and reabsorbing them into their system, or they're keeping certain toxins in their system and reabsorbing them over and over. And those toxins and those toxic form of hormones, because hormones change to different forms all the time, those can impact your system. So we want this system working. This is taking out the trash. So you want that trash process, or that taking out the trash process, to be working at its best so that your health will be better. When it comes to the things that you can do all of the various lifestyle habits in moderation to optimize your gut health. And so I say in moderation because one of the things that helps gut health is movement. And it's really easy to do exercise or movement too much, which will just create a stress in your body, increase cortisol. And cortisol, when you're under stress or of any type, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical stress, cortisol makes your gut microbiome, which is your gut bacteria, off balance. It kills off certain bacteria that it causes inflammation of the lining of that gut. It's really detrimental to gut health. So when it comes to movement, we want to do it in moderation and in a balance. And there's certain things that might be optimal for your gut in terms of a slow, quick, or kind of HIIT exercises, which is high intensity interval training. This is another area where that kind of training works well to get your gut moving and to keep these things being eliminated from your system that you want to eliminate all the time. Sleep is another one. Sleep helps the gut work better. If you do not sleep well, your gut doesn't work as well. On the other hand, when your gut is working well and you have a nice balance of bacteria, that bacteria will help you sleep better. So if you have insomnia, the gut is the place to start. When it comes to autoimmune disorders or any kind of inflammatory condition, pain all over for some reason or another, or when it comes to your immune system in terms of being healthy, we know that the gut is key. So if you're getting viral infections all the time, if you are having trouble fighting a cancer, those are keys that you need to be looking at the gut and the gut balance also. When it comes to the gut health, we're talking about a healthy system that runs smoothly, but we are also talking about a system that harbors some of the most beneficial organisms in the universe for our body. And sometimes those are bacteria, and we talk about having a balanced form of good bacteria and bad bacteria, but it's not always bacteria. It could be viruses, it could be what we call spirochetes, it could be yeast or fungi. So it's not just bacteria that we want in a healthy balance, but we want all of those organisms in a healthy balance, because some of those organisms we need, they make certain chemicals that help us with brain function, with focus. So if you have ADHD, you want healthy gut bacteria for focus. This is true for anxiety and depression. If your gut bacteria is not healthy, you will struggle with anxiety and depression more. You will struggle with low energy, and you will struggle with all kinds of immune system, whether it's immune issues rather, whether it's inflammation or it's just fighting colds and infections and viruses all the time. I really want you to be thinking about having a healthy supply of these organisms called the microbiome in your gut. The way to have a healthy supply is partly you already have a supply of these organisms. You were born with them. And some people were born with a better healthy supply than others. We spend a lifetime disrupting that healthy supply of organisms in our gut when we are under stress, or we take certain antibiotics or medications that interfere with our gut microbiome, that balance of healthy organisms. But also we interfere with that all the time in terms of our stress. So in order to take what's there and really feed the good bacteria, we need to know what that food is. And the food to feed the healthy gut bacteria that's already in our system is fiber. People don't realize that fiber is key. If you don't have fiber in your diet, your healthy gut bacteria don't have any food and they don't thrive. So you need to be thinking of all the foods that have fiber. Animal foods do not have fiber. Plant foods do. And that's what I want you to think about this week, including more fiber in the form of plants. That will be fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans or legumes, and grains. And all of those are plant foods. They all have fiber and they feed your gut. If you don't know how much fiber you're getting, get on the internet and find a really good calculator for fiber in food. There's lots of different ways to do that. We have one on our own site because we use Practice Better in our patients and clients. And if you're interested in accessing that, let me know. Just send me a comment and let me know, and I'll help you get access to that. But I want you to go from the average that most people have, and they say the average in the United States that people get per day is 13 grams of fiber. I do not see that in my practice. What I see is that most people are getting 4 to 5 grams of fiber a day, very low amounts. I want you to be thinking about 40 grams of fiber a day if you're female and 50 grams of fiber a day if you're male, and then work up from that. And what you'll find is that as you start to eat more plants, you will start to see those fiber amounts go way up. I know when I first started, I was probably averaging about 10 grams a day, and now I average around 70 to 75 grams of fiber a day because all the foods that I eat have fiber in them. So fiber feeds your gut bacteria and all the other organisms that I mentioned. And all of those organisms keep each other in balance. And they also balance themselves naturally between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. It will help you so that you are having fewer issues with diarrhea or loose stools, constipation, or slow stools. Slow, hard stools is what I think of as constipation. I just want you eating more foods containing fiber, and then we'll see how that goes. But this is the place to start. I said this was going to be a beginner's guide for a healthier gut, And that's really what I want you to be thinking about. So if this has been helpful for you, make sure you send it to a friend or a family member that might be helped by it. If you don't know of anybody that it would be helpful for, then like it so that YouTube can find some of the same types of people as you to share this information with. And look at some of our other videos out there, and we will see you in the next live session. Thank you, everybody.